cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Baby, you are so money and you don't even know it.
I understood that reference.
Morning, Mr. Hammond.
Your mission,
should you accept it, steal, destroy, shadow, disappear.
assemble the team.
And here we go.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to FreeWheeling Fridays. This is the show where we talk about all things pop culture, but we also introduce you to some of the best creators in the world, and we find out more about them by taking your questions. I'm your host, Ryan of Quote Channel, and our guest on this episode of FreeWheeling Fridays, presented by the Madness Comic Network, is indie writer, podcaster, writer, director. I mean, he's done a billion things. His resume is seven. Let me do a count for you. 7 miles long, and this man is a force to be reckoned with. Please welcome Marx Pyle is here. Hello, Marx. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you here, Marx. Now, if you have any questions for this nice young man as we go throughout the course of this show, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to take those as they come in respectively. And we hope you enjoy this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Madness Entertainment Group says, "Hey, yo," which is Pops Van Zant, more specifically. What up, Pops? Good to see you, man. Hope everything's well. Marx is happy to see you. As you do in the Grand Wave. Hello there. Yeah. It's kicking it old school there, Marx. But I like it because it's Flashback Friday here on FreeWheeling Fridays. Yeah. So with that being said, what were some of your favorite books or writers growing up?
It depends on what I wanted to read. Obviously, Stephen King. I read Stephen King probably too young if I wanted something creepy. And something about normal like people getting into crazy weird stuff. Otherwise, I used to love watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You might be able to see Buffy up there on those old things called DVDs. I loved that show quite a bit. When it went off the air, I wanted more of something like that, which is urban fantasy. And so I hunted around. I found like Anita Blake originally, and Dresden Files from Jim Butcher, and Iron Druid, and a bunch of other urban fantasy books. I love almost anything urban fantasy. And then if I want something with a lot of world building and really good structure and story to learn from, Brandon Sanderson's really great for that. So it's got a lot of good educational stuff too, but his stories are really cool. And I honestly might not be a popular opinion, but I kind of like his non-fantasy stories even better. So.
All right, that'll be a hot take in the comments for tomorrow morning brunch. But no, it's all good. And speaking of Jim Butcher and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there's a bit of a commonality there because James Marsters does the audiobooks for those that series. So there you go. All good things, right? Addie Evans is here. She says, "What's your favorite Stephen King book?"
Oh my gosh, I think. My favorite that's maybe not everyone else's favorite is the Dark Tower series and stuff. It's just so different from anything I've ever read before. I liked how he pushed it quite a bit. Otherwise, really my favorite of his stories is not one of his books. It's his novella or short story. I can't remember what it's classified as. The Mist. So it also made a really good movie, halfway okay TV show. I love the concept. I loved how the dynamics of the people trapped there and the weird, almost Cthulhu, Lovecraftian creatures out there, and the kind of cool ending that the story originally had. The ending in the movie, without spoiling it, was very different, very bold move. You won't ever forget it. So, but anyway, that's one of my favorites of his because it's just so different.
No, I can understand that. Yeah, I saw the movie The Mist, and that ending was like, really? What it was a WTF moment. It's like, what is this? What the frack just happened? Because I'm curious. Sorry, I try to keep my things family friendly around here. But Addie says that's a great and terrifying film, The Mist. Yeah, it was. Great cast too. Thomas Jane. Awesome. Marcia Gay Harden was in that. Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some other well-known actors and actresses were in it. I just can't place them right now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, a lot of actors that would go on to Walking Dead, I think, because a lot of the creators behind the scenes went to Walking Dead, if I remember correctly.
Frank Darabont. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. And then Addie goes on to say, "I'll have to read that one then." Well, you're in for some terror. If you're talking about The Mist, or if you're talking about the Dark Tower, I mean, there may be some twisted stuff in the Dark Tower. Speaking of which,
Dark Tower might be too weird for some people, but I like it.
It might be too weird, but I do like the character of the gunslinger. And the funny thing is, my only experience with Dark Tower was the movie that no one talks about, called The Dark Tower, with Idris Elba and the reconnaissance. Matthew McConaughey is the Man in Black. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, is it any good? Not really, but at the same time, like, I do like Idris Elba as a gunslinger. I just like that. I think he did a good job. Listen, the actors did the best they could with the script they were given, which is pretty much not good. But Idris Elba was good to watch, though, right? I mean,
oh yeah, I thought he did a good job as that character. The action scenes were cool. It just wasn't Dark Tower. That's all.
No, there's nothing pretended to be the Dark Tower. But if they ever try to adapt it again somewhere down the line as an Amazon Prime original series, hey, try to do it that way and just not make it a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, and what Mike Flanagan's supposed to be working on, in theory, he's been working on it a long time though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'd like to see that, by the way, if that comes to fruition, his adaptation of the Dark Tower or something like that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I'm into that. So.
He's good. He's good. His horror is really good about making people relatable and believable, which makes it more terrifying when they're in danger. And I think that works well with Stephen King type stories.
Oh well, that's very true too. Favorite Stephen King movie adaptation?
Oh, there's not a lot of great ones.
I know, right? It's few and far in between, folks.
I don't know if I would say it's my favorite. It's my favorite I can think of off the top of my head is like, is it Dr. Sleep, right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, Shining, sequel to The Shining, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I was really impressed by it. I thought it did a good job picking up, making changes in the story to match with the movie, because most people had seen the movie, right? And kind of running with it. And I thought has great villain in it, has great lead characters, lots of great visuals. I thought that was a movie that didn't get as much attention as it should have gotten.
Fair enough. I've heard good things about it too. I just I haven't seen it yet. And plus the other thing was I'm not a big fan of The Shining. So
it's better than Shining, honestly.
A lot of people have said that, which means I probably have to sit my keister down and just freaking watch the movie, which I haven't done yet, Marx, and I apologize to you and the urban fantasy / horror audience.
What?
Out there, I have a blasphemer. You know what I'm saying? I apologize, but I'll do my best to rectify that, I guess, as one might say. That's a bold word to say, rectify. Is that an SAT word? No, I'm just kidding. What do I know? Losing track of my own mind here. What made you decide to become a writer?
I've always really enjoyed storytelling since I was a kid. I think originally I was thinking about maybe comic books or something, but I can't draw worth anything. And once I got a little bit older, I did some college degrees that were like in psychology and computer science and got tech jobs and stuff like that, a little more practical. But I really wanted to do something more creative and really wanted to write. And I thought maybe going to film school would really prod me in that direction. And it did. And I went to film school in Vancouver, British Columbia, and studied film production, worked a little bit up there. And then when I came back to States, I did some work for a couple of years. I was freelancing a lot. I still do occasionally do a project here and there, or my own projects occasionally for film. And then, the next thing is making film is expensive and to make it look good. And especially my, crazy imagination sometimes. And so I wanted to do something that didn't have budget constraints so much. So I wanted to learn more about writing books and stuff. And so I studied that and put together a publishing company so that I could publish books, but also I could publish stories with other authors, kind of get that collaborative feel that I like about film involved.
Wow. All right. That's pretty badass stuff. Going to film school, trying to be the next Spielberg, are we? Maybe next George Lucas? No, I'm just kidding. Hard to live up to those guys' reputations, but one can try and one can hope, right?
Yep.
For my ally is the force, and a powerful ally it is.
Just throwing that out there. Gray Wolf is here. He says, "Hi, y'all. What's up, Gray Wolf? How you doing?
Hello.
Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods." And I like that name too, Gray Wolf. Wolf packs, it's vicious creatures. Yeah, wolves can be involved in urban fantasy horror stories, right? They can be involved in stories like that.
One of my characters in my urban fantasy Obsidian Archive series, his code name is Gray Wolf. So
hey, look at you and the Gray Wolf here in the chat. We're some party co here.
Yeah.
Dude, that works, man. That's badass. If I do say so myself, I'm just pointing that out there as an example. Goodness gracious. Well, there's some great stories that you've put together and other great stories of other writers out there that have put together. Before we dive into some of those things that have may or may not have come across your desk, or maybe my desk, or maybe yours. Maybe watching or listening to this presentation right now may have come across your desk. We have this for you. Well, talk about building up anticipation. That sounds like we're just, what are you trying to do over here, Cindy Koepp? Trying to build up the tension? But fantastic stuff. Yeah, Cindy Koepp's a good friend of ours, so check her out, CKOEPP.com. Lots of great stuff going on with her. More people have chimed in the chat. Grey Wolf says, that's absolutely right. I'm working on a vampire graphic novel that is set in 1932 Chicago.
Nice.
I think Marx Pyle is going to want to get his hands on that one.
Yeah.
He's going to want to read that tomorrow morning, Grey Wolf. No pressure. But, try to get that done for him. He wants to read it. I'm assuming so. Amanda's Entertainment Group says, hello, Addie and Grey Wolf. Everybody saying hi to each other in the chat. That's all well and good. What have been the biggest rewards of being a writer to you?
I mean, I guess just telling the stories I want to tell and explore different worlds that are in my head all the time, and express them in a way that people can digest rather than random pitches or something. And then also, collaborating with other creators to help other creators also get their stories out and make a little bit of money on the side too. Never hurts any. So, and kind of networking, and I like networking with different creatives. Honestly, before I went to film school, I knew like almost no one that was creative, at least, first person. And after film school and on, I've met all sorts of people. I've become friends with, filmmakers and writers, script writers, and everybody else that I never thought I would have gotten to know. And that's really awesome experience.
Ooh, good stuff. Good stuff. And Grey Wolf adds something to the proceedings. He says, I have a promo vid that I did a while back, which you can find here at this link here in the chat. So awesome stuff, Grey Wolf. We'll have to check that out at some point, man, for sure. Sounds like a lot of fun. Vampire graphic novel in Chicago with them bears. And the deep dish pizza Chicago with them bears. Sorry, that's my poor attempt at a Chicagoan impression there from those of you for Illinois. I apologize if I'm butchering the accent or the phrases that you may or may not say in the Windy City of Chicago. I don't know. I've never been to Chicago. You been to Chicago before?
I have.
Yeah. Do they sound like that or not really?
I've encountered one or two people that kind of sound that way, but it's a small percentage of people.
Small percentage. Okay.
People that embrace that culture.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Have you been to the one of the bigger shows out there, C2E2? You ever been out there?
No, it's Chicago Comic-Con. I think that's the only geeky convention I've gone to up there. Otherwise, just vacations and stuff.
Oh, fair enough. That's
or Wizard World Chicago.
Wizard World, yeah. Well, I mean, now it's Fan Expo. Chicago Fan Expo owns it now, so
it's a while back.
Yeah, it's a while back. It's going to the way back machine. There, which hey, all well and good. Flip side of the coin, though, biggest challenges about being a writer.
Biggest challenges about being a writer, I guess, sitting down and writing everything out, outlining and coming up with ideas is pretty easy for me, but being able to sit there and especially a novel and make it through, sludge through every single chapter, get through it all, and troubleshoot the issues that crop up that you didn't think about in advance. Because I'm a halfway plotter, I'm a plotter pantser person. Those are the biggest challenges, just sitting there and doing it every day. And then marketing, getting heard, in the ocean of other voices and stuff is challenging, getting more challenging every year.
True. So many different social media outlets out there for sure. It's hard to keep up. Snapchat, what the heck is that? Blue sky, what do? You live in a sky that just happens to be blue? What does that even mean? just throwing that out there as a, for instance, what advice would you give to aspiring writers out there?
I would say don't feel like you have to ask for permission. Put your stories together, write, and present them to people, your friends, or preferably like maybe writing groups or someone who's not like super close friends, so they'll be a little bit honest with you, or more honest with you, and just work on improving your style. If you can find a mentor out there, obviously you can go to school too, but that's expensive. But you can find a mentor, maybe someone out there who's a little more experienced to help you out. And there's a lot of writing groups out there, especially if you're in a larger city. I would don't lock yourself up in a room and try to do it all by yourself and figure it all by yourself. Get out there and meet other people and take some workshops and stuff. So
good advice. Good advice. Absolutely. What I'm trying to say here. Absolutely. So what would you say are some of your favorite movies, past or present?
Favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. As a youngster, I loved The Crow, original Crow, quite a bit. That was a favorite of mine. None of the remakes or continuations are very good though. I like some urban fantasy type stuff. Highlander, the original Highlander. I like. Trying to think here. Need to have movies in front of me. I love stories. Well, I love good horror psychological stories. I feel like Mist is like that in some ways. Rain. There's been a lot of more recent ones. I haven't seen Long Legs yet to know if that's good or not for me, but a lot of those kind of stories that creep you out a lot, just psychologically more than necessarily gore. Like, not that I hate Terrifier or anything, but it's a little too much for me sometimes, the gore. And then of course anything superhero. I love all Marvel and some DC stuff.
All right, well, let's dive into that a little bit. What are some of your favorite Marvel movies or favorite Marvel characters?
I think, I mean, I like the new Deadpool Wolverine quite a bit because I like Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and I like Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. I like, there's not a single one that I hate. The last Ant-Man was a little, but they're all entertaining to me, which is hard to find in the franchise. Whereas DC, sometimes I just don't care about what happens in it. But I think, the original Iron Man was great. Original Thor, Thor Ragnarok, I loved. All the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, great. I think they were really another level. Great mix of drama and comedy, and showed like how to do a really good ensemble cast. Like James Gunn can do a really good job with that, and oddball characters.
All right. I can dig that. Good Marvel choices there. No question about it. Me particularly. I mean, I may not be a big Deadpool fan, but some of the stuff they mentioned in Deadpool and Wolverine, because people spoil everything.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of the cameos that showed up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they got all of these folks from the early 2000s to come back 20 years later. That's pretty insane.
It is crazy. I love the old Fox X-Men movies a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially the original ones.
Yeah, for sure. Favorite X-Men movie?
I mean, really, if not the first one, then First Class. One of those two.
Mm-hmm.
They both kind of rebooted that
True.
world, and I think they had just the right mix of characters and a good story. So eventually, they all just threw in too many characters eventually, and they're just like trying to pile on characters, and they lose the story a bit in the later installments.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair.
It kind of ruined Apocalypse. Apocalypse was my favorite villains, and he was kind of lame. I think did him.
A lot of people have said that. I don't mind Apocalypse, but it doesn't hold a candle to the OG. It doesn't hold a candle to X2, X-Men United. It doesn't hold a candle. Obviously, my personal favorite is Days of Future Past. That is a masterpiece of a film. Mm-hmm. It really is. Yeah. I mean, it just taking two different generations of X-Men and smashing them together in one movie. I mean, that's nearly impossible. But despite the problems that this man has had recently and being in Hollywood jail, Bryan Singer did an incredible job. So got to give the man credit. I mean, he did a lot for the comic book movie community, but at the same time, he did some negative things behind the scenes that we will not talk about. Hence the reason he's in Hollywood jail, if you know what I'm saying, according to Pop Culture Landscapes. Just saying.
Yep.
But once again, we are here with the incredible Marx Pyle here on this episode of Freewheeling Fridays. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for Marx, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. And if you're joining us live or on a replay, thank you so much for doing so. We can't do it without you. It is not humanly possible. What are some of your favorite DC characters or movies?
DC characters and movies. I love the first Wonder Woman movie. I thought that was very well done. That was definitely one of the best ones that were under Snyder's leadership. I thought it did a really good balance between being superheroes, fantasy, and like a World War I drama. So very different, unique, and well put together. What else was I kind of like Black Adam in a way too, to be honest. No, that wasn't very popular, but I kind of like the Justice Society characters. I really liked the Hawkman, that actor who played Hawkman. There was some good stuff in there that I kind of liked. It's just a shame that they had this weird thing where they weren't going to mention Shazam, and it was a bizarre way to handle it. And what else? DC. I haven't seen Blue Beetle. I really need to because I love Cobra Kai, and that's one of the main actors, stars in that. And I've always liked Suicide Squad when I was a kid reading comics. I just liked that darker vibe that they had and the concept. The first one was like, but the second one, the Suicide Squad with James Gunn, I thought nailed it much better. A little goofier in a way, but it was a good movie overall. And of course, all the Batman stuff is great. Or well, maybe I should say all. Sans nipple.
I was going to say, watch what you say there, because if you say Batman and Robin's one of the greatest movies of all time, you're
no. Christopher Nolan Batman's, and the first Tim Burton Batman. Those.
Oh yeah, masterpieces, no question. Hands down. But if you had to pick one out of the million Batman movies we've had in the last 35 years, what's your favorite Batman movie? What's the best? Probably
the first Christopher Nolan Batman movie.
Oh, Batman Begins.
Well, I mean, actually, maybe the second one because Joker was so great in it.
Dark Knight.
One of those two, yeah. I think those were really strong by themselves.
So, in other words, it's a tie between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they're neck and neck to a certain degree.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well. Fun fact, Batman Begins turns 20 this year.
Wow.
Which means on the End I Quote channel, which for those of you watching, you can subscribe to it right now when you get a chance, we're going to be doing a 20th anniversary watch along for Batman Begins and a 30th anniversary watch along for Batman Forever with Val Kilmer. So check it out, man. You might enjoy it. Maybe we'll have you on the panel. Maybe we'll give you a seat at the table.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
If you want to be on that, it's basically our version of doing an audio commentary. So you're watching us watch the movie. You queue up the movie on your own device. You have the sound off, subtitles on, and you watch the movie, and you just react to it live as we're doing the show.
Ah, nice. That's cool.
So it's kind of like our version of Mystery Science Theater 3000. You know what I mean?
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. So if you're a Bat fan, which I pretty much figured that you are, you may want to have a seat at the table and hang out with us, you know, and chime in on your thoughts on certain scenes or moments with characters and things of that nature. So, basically, in the words of Godfather, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. So,
Nice.
So I guess you can come over to our place, have a seat, have a good time. Virtually, of course. It's virtual. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your own home there, Marx. You can just be with us in the virtual studio / movie theater. We can watch the movie together. Sound good to you?
That sounds good. I like it.
See? Everybody wins, right? Everybody wins. You who may be watching and listening to this right now, you're a winner. You know why? Because you're so money you don't even know it. That is a true statement if I've ever said one from a movie that not many people have heard of. But if you haven't seen that movie that I'm referring to, you got to go out and see it with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn before they were Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau, respectively. That movie came out almost 30 years ago. So check it out. Have you seen that movie, Swingers, Marx Pyle? Have you seen that?
I don't think I have, actually. No.
Well, you might want to write this one down. It's a really good rom-com. It's a romantic comedy, but it's funny, and it's early Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. And it came out in 1996 from Miramax Films, in case you're wondering who the distributor was. So,
okay.
Miramax might be on one of the streaming services out there. Feel free to, if you want to Google it, that's fine. It's a funny rom-com about a guy who's down on his luck and he's down on his love life. So his friends take him out to all these clubs and trying to get him back in the swing of things, asking for girls' phone numbers and trying to get on dates. So
Nice.
it may sound like one thing, but it's really about another. I know the term swingers is defined in a certain way, but it's not like that. It's not about that. It's just about getting yourself out there, and trying to get a date, just trying to meet new people and all that kind of stuff. So take it for what take it for what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to get at here. I just don't want to get in trouble with certain people that with a
It's not an adult film, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Sorry, just trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it real here, Marx.
Yeah.
For show. To this day. Just saying. Jeez, I'm losing my mind. But outside of that, before we dive into some examples and some other things that Marx Pyle has done over the course of his career thus far, we have this for you. That's an image that's going to keep me up tonight. Marx Pyle, is that something you're going to support right off the bat and be like, hey, it's horror, it's crazy, it's wild, it's probably brutally violent. I want to read this.
Looks pretty cool to me. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Well, the link is available to you in the chat. Madness Entertainment Group just put in the Kickstarter link for Raquel Quinn's Curse 1 through 3, a demonic horror comic series, which clearly is up Marx Pyle's aisle. See what I did there? Oh my gosh, I just rhymed. So there you go. There's the Kickstarter link for you. Booyah. It's in the chat. Thank you, Madness Entertainment Group. Appreciate all that. Good stuff helping us out behind the scenes there. Pops. Appreciate it so much. But going into was it Marx Pyle has some examples here that I'd like to share with you, if you don't mind.
Sure, go for it.
Television on the Wild Wild West? No. We're not going into the Wild Wild West just yet. This is television on the Wild Wild Web. How did this come about? And if you're trapped in an elevator with someone, you have to give something known as an elevator pitch. What is it?
So this was my first book I ever wrote, and it was after film school and working on some stuff. There was a big peak in web series for a while. I mean, it still exists, but there was a huge peak of web series. And I got a lot of experience in web series, working on other people's web series, working on mine. And so I just wanted to explore that concept and history and give tips on how to make web series or film. And so I put together this nonfiction book. So it's good for web series or film stuff. I did research on back then, like on Kickstarter, Indiegogo and stuff. And most of those tips still hold up, I think. So, but yeah, that was my first book. It was a traditionally published book that I did. So nonfiction. But
nonfiction, of course.
So a lot of humor mixed in and stuff.
I see.
I like to write with a natural voice, not like a dry academic voice. So,
yeah, one of the digital web series I remember seeing. Granted, this is going sometime way back when, but was when WB Digital put out the Mortal Kombat Legacy series on digital. That was on YouTube, I think, or on a streaming service, whatever it was. So that was interesting stuff. Did you ever see it?
Yeah, I saw that. Do you remember Sanctuary? It became a TV show on Sci-Fi. Had a man tapping in it.
I watched it. Not all of it, but I saw like the first season or so.
So that started off as a web series, independently funded web series, and I actually was in Vancouver at the time with school and working up there. So I went to their office and interviewed them and stuff for a website, and then also, of course, put some of that stuff in the book. So that was fun.
Oh, that must have been fun. Speaking of Vancouver, British Columbia, one of the things that Vancouver is famous for is not the 2 million non-existent Hallmark movies that are filmed there every day, and no one wants to watch because they're all the same exact movie each and every single time. I'm sorry to say, folks, but you're watching the same movie, just with different titles, different actors, and different pretend settings, even though they're all filmed in Vancouver, for Pete's sake. Sorry. Madness Entertainment Group says, my PlayStation network is down for maintenance. I got nothing else to do. Laugh out loud. Hence the reason I'm here helping you guys. And then he says, good show so far.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Pops. Appreciate it. That means I still have a job tomorrow. But yeah, no. Sanctuary, yeah, that was a good show. And then
It was also one of the first shows that was like all green screen backgrounds and stuff.
oh wow.
Whenever they went to Sci-Fi Channel, they recut the season. Like the first season was cut into 2 episodes, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course they filmed new episodes, and it was kind of a mix of stuff after that. So,
Oh. Well, one of the things that was filmed in Vancouver, I mean, a lot of things have been filmed in Vancouver, let's be perfectly honest. But one of the things I know that is Smallville was filmed in Vancouver, and all the CW shows have been filmed in Vancouver. Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, I think at one point was filmed there. So, yeah. Did you ever get a chance to be on set while they were filming some of the superhero TV series, including Smallville, back in the heyday there, Marx?
no, I didn't get to be on those particular sets. Mike Rosenbaum is from near this area. His mom lives in this area where I live, and so I and my wife kind of know her, and I actually worked on Michael Rosenbaum film for a little bit, like as a driver and in transportation stuff mostly, and so that was a fun experience. But in Vancouver, I didn't. I knew some people who were PAs on the set, and I saw like a lot of people driving around the Supernatural Impala, driving around on the streets. So that was fun because I love the show. But what's cool is you could walk around. I mean, I was on different sets as a PA and stuff, not those, but you also could just walk around and run into a set. Like I walked almost into like a Bionic Woman action stunt scene, because they were making a Bionic Woman reboot.
Oh yeah.
And there was something else. I never found out what it was. I never could figure out, but I walked up thinking there was a car crashed, and I was kind of halfway walking over, like, is somebody okay? You know, what's going on here? And I realized that it was a film set as I walked into camera, and then just kind of kept walking and act like I didn't see anything. And one of the PAs was like, oh, it was funny.
Oh wow, I remember the Bionic Woman reboot. Yeah, I think it was like Michelle Ryan. I think Katie Sackhoff had a role on that.
Yeah, they were doing a scene like running down the sidewalk, and they had a big, falling on falling with the camera, and
like a dolly shot, or maybe an overhead camera shot.
Yeah, with a dolly on a track, keeping up with her. She ran down the sidewalk. They had another one where her stunt double was jumping off a roof or falling off a roof. So
that was like within the first 2 episodes, man.
Yeah, and then also they filmed in my film school some scenes from the second X-Files movie, I think it was. So we had a lot of that. They like redid the streets right there and made them look like snow and stuff, fake snow. And
fake snow.
That's fun.
I think the second one was the X-Files I Want to Believe. Yeah. Was the second film.
Or was it Fight the Future? Maybe that was
that was the first. That was the first one back in '98.
Okay, now I guess it was the second one then. They lit up right there that area because it was downtown Vancouver for second Punisher movie, I believe. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, so there's always stuff going on. And I was on did a lot of commercials, and then I did some PA work on horror movies and stuff and whatever, so I could get my hands on.
That's pretty cool. What were your interactions like with Rosenbaum?
Oh, not a whole lot. I mean, we just chatted a little bit. And I mostly drove around because he's from the area, so he drove himself mostly. So I drove around a lot of the other actors.
Oh, the other actors. Okay.
Yeah, like my gosh, I'm terrible with names. The guy who's the Old Spice guy, he's also in Shadowhunters. And
Isaiah Mustafa, I think his name is.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Him and the woman who plays Anya and Buffy, and woman who plays was it Moriana, who's in Firefly. She's been on V and stuff too.
Marina Baccarin or Jewel State or
Maria's first one. Marina Baccarin,
Marina Baccarin, yeah. There's a name no one forgets. I mean, did you see her in the reboot of V, man? I mean, even though she had the pixie cut, which I'm not a fan of particularly, but you know, hey, it worked for her. But then she grew her hair back when she was in Deadpool, and she was in Gotham, the TV series Gotham, which is where she met her husband.
Yeah.
You know, Ben McKenzie, who'd have thunk, right? The guy from the OC and the woman from the reboot of remake/V get together and they get hitched.
And Christopher Palaha, I was very impressed by. He was just a nice guy to chat with, but also he just was very professional and acting like a leading man type person. So he's been in a lot of Hallmark stuff, I believe, but other stuff
Yes.
too.
Yeah, he's getting a good paycheck from the people at Hallmark.
Yes.
There, Marks. But I remember the first time I met Christopher Balaha professionally was in a TV series that was on C-Dub. It was called Life Unexpected. That was the first time I saw him, and he plays the dad to Britt Robertson's character, but he doesn't know it in the beginning. And then he kind of reveals, "You're my dad," and that's why it's called Life Unexpected, because his life and her life get turned upside down, and they're trying to figure out all these changes together. And they do it as father-daughter, or one of the actors who plays the mother. Like, they basically the three of them try to figure it out together. And I'm like, oh, that's a nice family dynamic. That's
He was in a good cop show too for a while. It just lasted one season. He was one of the supporting characters.
Oh, do you remember the name of it?
The
TV series?
It starred the guy from The Office who's always pranking people. He's really
shoot. I don't remember either. I don't know. Someone's gonna have to use their friendly neighborhood Google machine in the backstage area of the studio and figure it out, because I have no idea what show that is.
Yeah, I'm really bad about actor names unless I know them super well. I will find it in a second.
No, it's all good. But Christopher Balaha is a good actor. He's got some good acting chops there, and I respect him as an actor. So if I ever get a chance to see him at a convention, I'll definitely talk to him about Life Unexpected, because I want to know what it was like filming those. I think it only lasted one season. It was like 13, maybe 22 episode run. It was one or the other. It was either the back 9, 13 episode order, or maybe it was a 22 episode order. I can't remember exactly. I apologize. But it was a good show while it lasted, and the cast was great too. Britt Robertson. I mean, look how much that girl's done. I mean, she's grown up right in front of our eyes. I mean, she was. I mean, she does these shows. She was in Tomorrowland that nobody talks about because the movie never really happened. She was in a short-lived TV series on CW called The Secret Circle, which I thought was really good. That only lasted one season, which really bummed me out, Marks, because I think The Secret Circle was a really good show. And I know it's probably weird for me to say that on national television, but I'm saying it anyway because it was a good show, guys. It was a good show. I like the cast. Thomas Dekker was on there, and he played John Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV series.
Yeah.
You had Phoebe Tonkin, who was on there from Degrassi. I think she was on Degrassi, one of those shows. She was on a mermaid show that was filmed in Canada. I can't remember the name.
Sirens, maybe?
No, Mermaid H2O, whatever, H2O, something like that. I can't remember the exact name of it. I forget. I apologize. But she was on that, and you had all these other actors over in it. Like,
so to answer my question about what Pla was in, it was Backstrom. Rainn Wilson starred in it. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah, Dwight from The Office.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure we had that there, but thank you. Once it did, see, we got
the
the fact checker.
It's a good show.
Yeah, but this is the fact checker we have here in this building, and he's a great indie writer and producer and director and all that stuff. He's also named Marx Pyle. For those of you who are wondering what is going on right now, this is Freewheeling Fridays, part of the Madness Comic Network, and Marx Pyle is the guest of honor, and he's also our friendly neighborhood Google machine. So, and I mean that in a good way. I mean it in a good way, Marx. I don't mean that as a negative. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for us, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. If you're don't forget to like and share this with everyone that you know, so we can get the show out to more people, so they can watch it, they can enjoy it, share it with their friends, and dive into something known as pop culture, because pop culture is fun to dive into.
Oh yeah.
If you know what I mean. So we've run the gamut here a little bit, but also we've talked about some other great people that we know of, some great writers, great people who got some great projects going on, and we also have this one to include into the mix as well, if I can find it. There it is.
Welcome to Based on a True Story, Volume 6, Tales of the Underworld, where true crime collides with the furry, funny, and fierce world of the Dust Bunny Mafia. This brand new 32-page comic reimagines real mafia legends, Mad Dog Cole, John Gotti, and more, through the eyes of our animal mobsters. Think The Godfather meets Looney Tunes, packed with action, humor, and full-color storytelling.
Just when you thought you've seen everything in indie comics, folks, we got things based on a true story here, Marks. Goodness gracious. That's going to be one for the books, but check it out. All those great things, campaigns, all the stories are out, so check them out, or they're coming soon to a theater near you. Madness Entertainment Group just did us a good favor and put the Kickstarter link in the comments below in the chat room, so feel free to grab that link. Check out the Kickstarter for Based on a True Story Mob Most Mobables one. Wow, launching next Friday right here on the network. There you go. Booyah. That's interesting, isn't it?
Nice.
Congrats to all the people out there working on that project. So there's your link in case you're wondering. In the chat box. What am I trying to say? Gee whiz. What are some of your favorite TV series that you haven't named yet that have nothing to do with horror or fantasy horror?
Well, most Star Trek shows. I love Star Trek. Grew up on Star Trek. Especially like Star Trek Strange New Worlds right now, which I think really captures the classic feel. We were talking about Cobra Kai. I love Cobra Kai quite a bit. I was surprised. I was a holdout. I was like, I liked Karate Kid, but come on, really? So I didn't watch it until season 5 came out, I think it was, and then binged it, and then I wanted more. I wanted the last season. So I was really impressed by how much fun Cobra Kai is. Just really broad, like full demographic, male, female, all ages probably. Really good show. Good example how you can do like a reboot or a continuation of a show. And then I know you said no horror, but I got to mention one of my favorite horror shows, which is From. I've been watching From lately. I love it. I liked it before everybody else started watching it. So that's where people get trapped, where people will be driving on the road and somewhere in America, and they'll find a tree down on the road, and then they try to turn around and they come across this town that wasn't there before. And no matter what they do, they can't get out of the town. And at night, these monster people come out and hunt people. And there's this whole rich mythology that's been going on for decades and mystery about what's happening there. So it's a pretty cool story.
All right. When it comes to Star Trek, favorite Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, yes. Who's your Star Trek captain?
Picard. Picard was, yeah. I didn't love Star Trek Picard, the show. I liked the 3rd season because it brought back everybody, right? Mm-hmm. But TNG is what I first started really watching, and really followed straight through. So he's what I think of as a Star Trek captain.
Make it so.
Yes.
Make it so, Mr. Wolf.
I don't drink Earl Grey tea though.
No tea, Earl Grey. Sorry, that's Klingon.
Worf. Worf, Data. They got a good cast of characters, all very unique.
Very, very true. Favorite Star Trek movie?
Probably Wrath of Khan. That's probably my favorite. Just a great villain with Khan. Outside of that one would be First Contact. So that's really the only good TNG one, I feel like.
It's true. Yeah, I'll give you that. First Contact is what got me into Star Trek in the first place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I watched the movies long before I watched the show. So I did everything in reverse, Marx. Everything was done in reverse. Reverse, like the song says. Reverse. Everybody clap your hands. You know that song that we played at Homecoming. Homecoming dances, I should say. But yeah, no, First Contact is, to me, it's a perfect movie. I think it's great. Beginning to end, straight through. And the line must be drawn here, this far. Oh, yeah. No farther. Like that whole scene between him and Alfre Woodard's character is so good. It's so good. And then, ironically enough, when they talk about Moby Dick, he ends up playing the captain in a Moby Dick movie adaptation, a made-for-TV movie adaptation. A couple years later, Patrick Stewart does, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you predicted your own future. This is great."
I love when they go on that rocket and they play magic carpet ride. That was great. So many classic scenes in that movie.
Yeah, Zephram Cochrane.
Yes.
Yeah, Zephram Cochrane. Remember? And was it Troy gets drunk, and she says, "No, I am not drunk. I am perfectly calm." So don't question me about my technique. She keeps pointing at Riker because she's drunk. And he says, "You're drunk." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." But she won't acknowledge it,
Yeah.
Because she's the all-knowing, smart Deanna Troi. And it's like, no, you're not. No, you're drunk. You're off your kilter here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, First Contact, what made me a Star Trek fan, and Picard is indeed my favorite captain, 100%. I mean, nothing for me, with all due respect to all the captains out there in the world, nothing's going to top Picard for me. So.
It's pretty tough to top him. Pike is trying. He's trying in Strange New Worlds.
He is, isn't he?
Mhm.
And it's funny
He
because
can top him with his hair.
that's true. Have you seen his haircut? Yeah, that's something else. I don't know why they go wrong with that, but I guess it just was for the Starfleet at the time. The other thing is, the actor who plays Pike, Anson Mount, I knew him best as Colin Bohannon in Hell on Wheels on AMC,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
which is a Western drama. Did you ever see that?
No, I've been meaning to. I haven't seen it.
I like Westerns, and I think you would enjoy this. So if I were you, I would sit your keister down and watch all 5 seasons of Hell on Wheels. It's pretty darn good.
I need to. My wife loves Westerns. We co-wrote a Western type story, Western with dragons.
You co-wrote a Western with dragons?
Yep.
What's it called? What's the name of the book? Where can we find it?
It's in I don't.
Where's
it's in
where's
first
the example?
anthology, Dragons of a Different Tale.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little blurry.
It's a little blurry, yeah.
That was the first anthology, Dragons of a Different Tale.
Mm.
And but you can find it at cabotcrossing.com. It's all about dragon stories, and we just do different twists on dragons. I asked all the authors to do a different kind of setting or genre or a major twist on the archetype. So, and Julie and I went ahead and did a story where it's a wild beast of the West, and it's like an alternate Wild West past where people can ride dragons like horses in a way, and she's hired to like take out some rustlers and stuff and protect some of the cattle and stuff, and we get in a big old dragon fight, and they can fly and shoot her six shooters and stuff. It was a lot of fun. So,
well, in the words of Star Trek, oh my, that's dude. Send me a copy. Let's read this thing. For real, Mark. Send me the copy. I'll do it. Madison Entertainment Group says The Voyage Home of Star Trek is his favorite film. Darby, where's your captain?
Yeah, it's got a lot of funny lines in that one for sure.
Yeah, because they're the fish out of water. You know, because they get stuck in the 80s, remember? So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, walking down the street, everyone's looking at them funny, like, why are they wearing those outfits? What is there, a alien convention in town or something?
Well, luckily, people wore really weird stuff in the 80s, so that helped.
Yeah, so I guess Spock and Kirk kind of fit in with the crowd, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite part of The Voyage Home is computer. You know, Scotty's trying to, work his way into the computer system, but it's 80s technology, dude. They don't know what the heck you're talking about. Computers don't talk in the 80s, Mark. They don't talk unless you're watching the movie War Games. Want to play a game?
Yeah, and McCoy so shocked by how barbaric the medicine is. So
this medicine's barbaric, Captain. Yeah. My favorite of the original crew, the TOS, the original series. I mean, the movies anyway, because I haven't seen the original series. The TV show anyway. It's funny, for a long time, my favorite was Search for Spock. I really liked that one. Chris Lloyd as a Klingon, that was pretty cool. Doc Brown as a Klingon, I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, I need to sit down and do a rewatch of this because I haven't done it in a while. Is watch was it not The Voyage Home? The Undiscovered Country. Yeah. Star Trek 6. That was the send-off for the original series crew. So I need to go back and rewatch it because a lot of people say that's not a lot, but some people have said that Star Trek 6 is the best of the original series movies. So we'll see. I don't know. I got to sit down and rewatch. I don't know yet. But I thought Wrath of Khan was eh. Sorry. I mean, I liked Search for Spock more than Wrath of Khan. I know that's blasphemy, but whatever. You know what they say, right, Marx? To each their own. To each their own. There's no problem with that, right? I mean, I don't think you. You and I sitting here right now, we don't have a problem with that.
Nah.
People on the interwebs might have a problem because that's what the interwebs is so good at doing is complaining, right? They like to complain about things, Marx. Don't complain. Just enjoy yourself.
Not good enough time for that.
I know, but you and I would agree on this, right? Like, just enjoy your fandoms, honestly.
Oh,
Who cares? You know what I mean? Like if you enjoy stories featuring dragons, that's fine with me. That doesn't bother me. I mean, I haven't read too many dragon stories. I just want to let you know that ahead of time, Marx. But I don't, I'm not opposed to reading some of the stuff that you've put together in your anthologies, especially when you describe that one set in the Old West with gunslingers, because I like Westerns, man. Yeah,
it's a good Old West one. We have a post-apocalyptic future one. We got space. We got giant dragons. There's space stations. There's all sorts of stuff.
Kind of reminds me of DS9 there for a second. Deep Space Nine space station, maybe, with dragons all over it.
Yeah.
I mean,
or Farscape's living ship, maybe. Yeah.
Farscape, thank you. Yeah, that was the other one too, because Babylon 5 and Farscape are on in and around the same time.
Yeah.
Some point.
But yeah, we got all sorts of.
Yeah.
So we got if you like horror, we got This was our first Kickstarter one, which was Tales of Monstrosity. It's actually quite a big book. Has quite a few stories in it by like Scott A. Johnson, Michael Laron, Marissa Wolf, Jeremiah Dillon Cook, Catherine Dow, some of those names you might have heard of, maybe, depending on your circle. But it's got a mix of where I asked them to basically take a monster from folklore that isn't like your typical, just a vampire or werewolf kind of monster, and like a chupacabra or Baba Yaga or something like that, and write a story and make a twist on that story too. So a lot of them are urban fantasy. It's very urban fantasy or horror focused in this one. We have Tim Wagner, who's a horror writer some people may have heard of, that wrote the foreword for it. And then our newest Kickstarter just wrapped up, and we just fulfilled just about everything. I just got to do like a 5e book stat thing. I have to finish formatting to give it to those people who bought that add-on. But they got all their books and stuff by now. We got Chant Tales and Twisted Lore. This is volume 1. We also have a volume 2, and I don't have that one on me right now because I had to send them all out. But this one is like taking fairy tales, folklore, and fables and doing like big twists on them. So in this one, Bobby Nash, who I know has been on the show, he's the one who told me about your show. He has a story in there that's got his little spin on Pinocchio. And Pinocchio in the space in the future. We have Michael Laron, Paul Godalin, Sean Gibson. Sean Gibson does a lot of really good fantasy comedy type stories, and lots of other authors that we've had before. Michael Joseph Darnish Roby did a really cool story that touches on Peter Pan. Got lots of nice mix of stories in this one and the other one. We have like a Snow White on Mars story in this book, and Marissa Wolf and Melissa Olthoff in this volume 2 wrote an amazing, pretty much novella story. That's a fae fantasy type story. It's really great. So those stories, we've got them all fulfilled to the backers now who back the Kickstarter. But those who might want that, and when it comes out wide, it's coming out wide last Tuesday of February for this book, and then the first Tuesday of March for the other volume. And you can like go on there and you can just put my name in and search, and they'll pop up.
Oh, nice! Congratulations, man. That's fantastic.
Or go Cabot Crossing, I guess, too.
Yes, that too. And by the way, the links to where you can follow myself and Marx Pyle are indeed located in the description below of this video. So check out those links. Check out what this man's doing. I mean, he's only 25 and he's done 20 billion things that I can never do at 37. So well done, Marx. Well done. I don't know. Maybe 25 is pushing it, but
maybe if I didn't have gray hair in my beard. This is the cover of the second book. If you can kind of see it in there. It's on the bookmark.
It is. Yeah.
It's got a futuristic city and a dragon. So a little nod to our dragon books.
Who doesn't like dragons?
It's still a very popular title.
Yeah. Speaking of dragons, what are your feelings on GOT, Game of Thrones? Lots of dragons were featured in that one.
Yeah, I like the dragons in it. Now, I liked it overall. My wife did not like it. She's too dark for her, too grim. So I have to watch it on my own. But I liked it overall. I think they pushed it a little much on some of the elements. But again, I didn't like how it wrapped up. It was very Hollywood type wrap up versus what the book's pacing was. But I'm amazed by the sets and the acting and a lot of the great work they did to bring it to life. And the dragons are very well done in that. I have not watched the sequel series, so not yet. But yeah, that's how I feel about Game of Thrones.
I gotcha. It's called House of the Dragon, I think is the new series that's out right now. So
yeah, and I like George R. Martin. I've liked George R. Martin for a long time. Up there is a bunch of his books that he edited and co-wrote for Wild Cards. It's like a superhero series. It's like, what if superheroes were real and they popped up like after World War II because of alien virus, and how would that change society and history too? Because the books came out in the 80s, but they start off like right after World War II and change the history along the way they go in the books. So it's really cool, really different kind of series.
Oh wow. Okay, that's good. That's good stuff. So if any of your books, stories, anthologies were going to be adapted into an animated or live action series or a one-off kind of movie or TV series, who would you cast in any of the roles? Any thoughts, or would you want any of your stuff to be adapted at some point? Or are you just happy? Are you happy with it just being words on a page, even though Gaston would counteract that and say, "How can you read this? There's no pictures." Well, some people use their imagination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against adapting it. Gosh, I don't know. Obsidian Archives, that universe is probably what I've written in the most, because I have a Vela series that I did. There's only 10 chapters up right now, and Vela's going down anyway any day. But the novel itself, that's just far beyond, it was supposed to be all of season 1, is coming out in April, end of April, in book format. That's like urban fantasy meets like covert ops, action adventure stuff. That'd be a lot of fun. My lead character, who's got a code name Grey Wolf, I would probably, just off the top of my head, I would say, I wouldn't mind Jensen Ackles perhaps playing that role. That wouldn't be too bad. I think even Christopher Laha could probably pull that role off if he gets a little gritty and dark. See if he can do that. And there's a lot of other characters in there too. There's a character that's sort of Maria, that's sort of like a chosen one type character, similar to Buffy in some ways. Wouldn't mind seeing her come out. She's more Hispanic, so have to be a Hispanic actress. So there's a lot of great ones out right now. And I don't know. There's a cat too. There's a cat in there that's based off a cat I used to have for 15 years who passed away named Scout. So I have a magic cat named Scout in it. So it's a lot of cool stuff that's really close to me in that series. And I would love to see, it would be really great because it's very cinematic. How I write, it's very cinematic approach. It's very first person-y, and it jumps around a little bit in first person, but it's very cinematic in style and lots of action and stuff. Trying to use a lot of my background in martial arts. And I've done a little bit of fight choreography over the years. So trying to add a little bit of that in there too. Would love to see that adapted, either animated or live action.
Oh, cool. And that actually brings us, and you segue right into this brilliantly. Obsidian Monsters, all this, which by the way, the image that you're seeing here, for those of you who are watching this right now, whether it's live or on the replay, this is like a poster I would hang on my wall, just of how badass everyone's got their superhero pose going on, if you know what I'm saying, or their secret agent man or secret agent woman pose going on here. So, Obsidian Monsters, for someone who's unfamiliar with this, what exactly is this all about, and how did you come up with this idea for all these stories?
Well, I originally worked on this one as a thesis in grad school, and it was just kind of like my love letter to urban fantasy, I guess. Urban fantasy series I would like to see if I didn't have a budget limit. And so there's a lot of, I guess, archetypes in it, but then I put my own twist on them and stuff. And everything's covert ops, super spy type stuff in there. And it's a very much an ensemble cast. The Grey Wolf is the middle one there. He has this rain. You see the smoke. It creates this armor, magical armor around him. That's what it's starting to do. Diaz is there with the guitar. She's got a story also in this new anthology. It's called Three Little Were-Pigs and the Big Bad Jaguar. She's a were-jaguar. And then Maria is the other one there who's got her cool weapons and stuff. And you can see a scout cat down there. So very particular about getting that right. And lots of monsters and stuff. So I've been working on this one for a long time. The Velo, many of the chapters of the Velo was out years ago, and I just needed to do another fresh take over the whole season or large novel, and it's ready to go now. So go out for a full publication, the full season. So
that's pretty cool. I could see AC/DC or a type of a hard rock song being the theme song when the people are just walking in like this with their poses and everything. Like, hey, we're back in black. Back in black. Or what's that other song we heard in the Iron Man? Shoot to Thrill. Avengers. Shoot to Thrill. Way to kill. It's like
every AC/DC song.
I can see some of those. I can see some of those sounds being played in the background as these characters are going through this post-apocalyptic, or whatever world that they're in, trying to, tear down these monsters or take down the forces of evil, I should say. Excuse me.
Yeah. And then in this one, so this one has a Diana Diaz story. Sure. One, which takes place after that, but it didn't spoil anything. And then this one has a story from a different character that has to do with the Fae like Criminal Underground. It exists in the same world, but it's a whole new character. He's a shapeshifter puka, and it's got a lot of live action. It was people keep saying it's like urban fantasy John Wick, and that was before I watched John Wick. Then I watched John Wick, and I was like, yeah, I guess it is a little bit like it. If John Wick could shapeshift.
Yeah, I was gonna say he is called the Baba Yaga for a reason. He's the boogeyman.
Sure.
No, he's the one who you send to kill out to find and kill the boogeyman. As one person might say in John Wick 2 or 3, I can't remember which one said that line, but yeah, John Wick is badass, man. And they got the spinoff coming out now. They got the spinoff coming out called Ballerina from the world of John Wick with Ana de Armas as the female lead in that one. You excited about that?
I am. I was surprised how much I like John Wick. They do such a great job. When you really think it's a pretty simple story, but they do such a great job keeping the fight scenes, the environment of the fight scenes, the different ways they're fighting, always different and unusual. And so every fight, just even though it kind of goes a long time in a way, it doesn't feel like it goes a long time. And you really enjoy all those kills. He just massacres tons of people.
No, seriously, the guy. I mean, Keanu Reeves is 60+ years old, and he can still break someone's neck like he's 21.
I know. And apparently, everyone in the world is an assassin. Apparently, lots of assassins in that world.
In the world of John Wick, yes, it feels like there's no regular human, every type people. You know, I don't. Just out of curiosity, though, and there's no right or wrong way to answer this, but what's your favorite installment of the John Wick films?
Oh, gosh, they kind of blur a little bit. Not the last one, but. I want to say the first or second. Which one had the dogs in it? Was it a second one?
Well, the second one, Holly Berry had 2 dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
No. The third one had the dogs. I'm sorry.
Was the third one?
It was John Wick. It was John Wick 3 Parabellum.
Okay. And how many is there? There's 4.
There's
right?
4 of them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that might be one of my favorites. I mean, it's hard to top the first because it started the whole story. But I did like the use of the dogs. It just mixed it up a bit and fit for that world, that character. And she was really good in it too. I'm not like a huge fan of her, but for action films and stuff, but she was quite good in that role. I thought that's another thing. All the supporting characters are really good. They're very colorful. So as soon as they come in, you're just like, yeah, I feel like I kind of know this. It's like pro wrestlers in a way. They come in, they got this motif thing going on, and you can just go right into the fight and see how it happens. So without getting a bunch of backstory.
yeah, that's very true. And the other thing is, I mean, John Wick is just so badass, and Halle Berry trained very hard for that movie. Like, she trained hard. You know, this is someone who's in her mid-50s, and she's training for all these action sequences, including the ones that involved her 2 dogs in the movie. I'm thinking, geez, Halle Berry can train for this? I mean, she's in her 50s, for Pete's sake. How could she even do this? But, you know, with the little John Wick magic that they poured into her drink that day, it worked. You know, hard work and dedication could go a long way, brother. So,
oh yeah.
You know, what are we trying to say here? More power to you, Halle Berry. Jeez. And Keanu Reeves is like 60-something. He can still break my neck. So got that Johnny Utah in him, you know, from Point Break. Remember Point Break? Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, Utah, give me 2. You know, so, I mean, who could forget about that, man?
I can't wait to see what he's going to be in Marvel, right? He's supposed to be in Marvel pretty soon, I think. That's the rumors.
Yeah. Do we know what character he's playing?
Not that I know of. I haven't seen it. They have said it.
Who knows? Keanu Reeves can do anything and get away with it because he's Keanu Reeves, and he's a badass mamma jamma that I don't want to mess with. So, and the other thing you don't want to mess with is the fact that this is a great episode of Freewheeling Fridays on the Madness Comic Network with Ryan as your host and Marx Pyle as the guest of honor. Do not forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you're joining us live on the replay, thank you so much for doing that. It's been a blast so far. How about this? Any special memories for you from being at conventions or other events, whether you're there as a vendor or there as an attendee?
Gosh, I go Dragon Con quite a bit. I really like a lot of the people there at Dragon Con. That's where I met Bobby Nash, actually. It was at Dragon Con. He goes there often. I think they got all these different tracks of different topics. So like books and TV shows and British TV shows and movies and And so you're never bored. It's like if you're just a person going to that convention, you're going to find something to go to because they're all run not 24-hour, but practically 24-hour. They go pretty late, and you can just bounce around and find something fun, including martial arts. They have martial arts stuff. They have belly dancing classes. They got all sorts of crazy stuff. So I've had a lot of great memories going to Dragon Con with my wife or with other creators. I've done before, like I do tabletop role-playing game stuff sometimes. If you go to the Cabot Crossing YouTube channel, besides finding book stuff, you'll also find role-playing game stuff. We have lots of different role-playing game type shows. And we used to do like Action Movie World there, where we would get these people together and do like this rules of light type game. Because Action Movie World is an actual game out there. And we just make a movie, basically. We run with ideas from the audience. It's kind of like half improv, half gaming. That was always a lot of fun. And also we do, for a lot of our anthologies, hopefully we'll do it for this one. We did it for a couple of the other ones where we had a group, whenever authors came, we would do a group reading. And we'd read each other's stories, sometimes take different parts of the characters and have some fun with that. So it's a little more funny or exciting. Interesting, especially if you have accents, and then we'd do a Q&A with the audience and stuff, and sell books and stuff, and that's some of my best memories probably is that stuff. So,
wow, I've never been to Dragon Con, but I hear it's one hell of a party.
Yeah, it's great.
I hear it's a party that never ends too, because it's in like 4 different hotels with like 60 floors of exhibitor space, and I'm like, how am I supposed to navigate all that? That's ridiculous.
You're probably the first time you go, but I've gone many times now. So
yeah, you're an expert, so I would trust people like Bobby and yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to Dragon Con this year. What's the first thing I should do when I get into the building? Should I go here? Should I go there? Should I check out the belly dancing classes that I don't want to participate in, but I just want to see what they're doing over there?
Yeah.
Or am I missing something here?
They have a really good app. I don't know. I haven't experienced that for too many other conventions. I'm sure there are other ones with it, but they have a really good Dragon Con app that you get.
Okay.
Yeah, app, and you can like look into different tracks and flag things that you want to maybe go to and put it on your schedule and stuff. So it's really handy that way, because there is a lot. There's so much stuff. Yeah, so, and they have a lot of celebrity guests there too, and
it's a big show. Yeah.
Yep.
I've heard they get the big fish out there. So
they can, yeah, especially for Star Trek, and I mean
some of the TV shows.
It's in Kim or Harry. That actor is the one that's the director of the Star Trek track. So he's always there.
He's always there. So you can find him, or you find them pretty easily.
Yeah. So they have a lot of good Star Trek stuff, but a lot of good everything. Babylon 5, all sorts, everything you can think of. TV show, movies are there.
And they have a lot of tables with authors, right?
Yes. They have a lot of tables with authors. They have a big event thing where authors can set up their tables and sell there. They also have booths in the marketplace where you can maybe have book signings there. You do readings and stuff. Schedule those
readings.
Yeah. So there's lots of good opportunities for authors there, and they have some really good author workshops and stuff there. So
I mean, meeting the celebrities is one of the best things for me about going to a convention. But really, what I've discovered over the years, since I've been going to conventions for 12 years, is I really like meeting the independent artists and the creators and everybody I see there, including the authors yourself, Mark. So if I'm going to go to Dragon Con, probably the first thing I would do is go to the author track and see all the different writers and genres, and see what everybody's writing in, and see if there's anything that I may like to read or something I may want to purchase. I mean, obviously, I would talk to both you and Bobby Nash and some of the other veterans who go to Dragon Con every year. I think what is it, Van Allen Plexico is there with Right Rocket Books. Some other people there too that I know of who I've interviewed on my other show over the years. So I would just say, hey, where do I go? Like, tell me where the author's booth is. I'll just hang out with you guys.
Yeah, I've met some cool people on the panels and stuff, So cause sometimes I'm on a panel with Jim Butcher or Jim Butcher's son or something. So it's kind of cool. So
talk about getting starstruck by sitting next to the guy who wrote those stories, written by Jim Butcher and his kid. I'm like, geez.
Yeah. Super nice guys. So
they are nice people. Okay.
Oh yeah. All
right.
Why, have you heard things? What's going on?
No. It's just that sometimes when I've gone to conventions, people tell me certain people aren't the best people to be around. But I mean, granted, I haven't heard anything about the Butcher family, but Jim Butcher has been known for a long time to write all these books, and I just haven't read them, unfortunately. I hear good things though, but I hear the best thing for me to do is just listen to James Marsters narrate all the audiobooks.
Oh yeah. It's great.
Because it's Spike. And to a lot of people, he's known as Spike, but for me, he's always going to be Brainiac from Smallville, because Smallville is my favorite show of all time. # these are the facts of the case, and they are undisputed. So I'm sorry, I'm a big Smallville fan, and I love Superman. So that's my flavor, man. That's my favorite flavor of nerdom right there. Is Superman's my #1 favorite character. It's a true story.
I still think Michael Rosenbaum's probably my favorite overall.
Lex Luthor.
The voice actor played Lex Luthor for quite a while.
Yeah, Clancy Brown. Brown, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing.
He's a badass mamma jamma too. I like that guy. Plus, he was in Highlander.
That's true. Yeah, he's the Kurgan.
He was Kurgan. He was the antagonist in Highlander. There can be only one. Which, by the way, I didn't see Highlander for the first time until a few years ago during the lockdown, and I got to tell you, that's a solid film, man. That's a solid.
Yeah.
And by the way, I like swords, and I like sword fights. So what could be better, right?
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's such a cool, unique concept for urban fantasy or for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That just, really cool. A lot of the other movies, but the TV show, I love the TV show.
I heard the TV show was great. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's an amazing show. Did a great job.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet. Are there any? I mean, I'm sure there were tie-in novels for this, but were any tie-in Highlander books or novels I should check out if I'm a fan of the property?
Yeah, there are. I can't remember them very well, but off the top of my head, my wife used to read quite a few. There's one. There's a character. Mythos? I hope I'm not butchering that name. There's a character that's super old, like the oldest immortal there is that you meet on the TV show, and they did a really cool book. I remember it being really, really well done, where it's kind of like his backstory and stuff. So I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but that was definitely one of the best. There are a number of different Highlander books. They're pretty good. There's different Buffy books too. They're pretty cool. They do a lot of crossover stuff too. So. And Supernatural. Tim Wagner, who wrote the foreword to our second anthology, he's written some Supernatural books. Actually, I think one of them's up there. That's sort of like a Find Your Own Fate one. It's like they go in a time loop. So it's like a Find Your Own Fate book. So when they die, it's really just they died in the time loop and start over. So it's kind of a clever idea. Supernatural.
All right. Well, if you find any of the titles for those, those Highlander books, let me know.
Yep, I will.
Yeah, you just send them to me in the emails that you and I've been exchanging the last several weeks, if you want, or it's fine, or you can DM me on Instagram. However you do it. I mean, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine. I'm there. You know what I mean? It just happens. It's called social media for a reason. We try to interact with each other, and we also try to support each other to the best of our ability. So, if you have any recommendations for any of these books or characters that we've mentioned thus far, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Speaking of fantasy or something in the fantasy realm. What are your feelings about Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian or Solomon Kane?
I mean, I like Conan and Kane. Okay, I haven't read those stories. If that's what you're asking, those original pulp stories. There's a role-playing game. It's Conan. I played some of that. I of course love the Conan movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Those are really good. I do some actual play stuff on my channel. That actually with tabletop role-playing games. There's actually another channel called Dream Slayer Studios that I do every other Tuesday. It's a Marvel universe, and he mishmashes all sorts of characters from different stuff. And we actually had Conan in there, and I got to play him for a little bit because my character was out of action for a while. So I got to practice my Arnold Schwarzenegger accent.
Oh gosh, that must have been exhausting. How many times do you have to practice like get to the chopper?
Get to the chopper. There's no choppers there in a fantasy world, but yeah.
I need to go to Recall. Remember Total Recall? I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, I loved Predator is one of my favorite movies, especially as a kid. I just think it's a really strong movie overall and really original take, and probably my favorite of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the original Terminator and stuff. He's done a lot of good movies.
The OG Terminator is my favorite of the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that is the best. To me, that is like you can't. I know a lot of people put T2 in a pedestal, and that's fine. And it's still a well-made film. I'm not dogging it. I mean, I own both of them on DVD and Blu-ray for Pete's sake. So I know my stuff. Okay, I have physical media, and I'm a big proponent of physical media, as you can clearly see by Marx Pyle's background. Big proponent, fellas. Big proponent. But at the same time, like the Terminator is just so good. To me, that is a perfect movie.
Yeah,
the perfect movie.
The first one's more of almost like a slasher film.
Yeah, it is, and that doesn't bother me in the least because it's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the 45 long side with laser sighting. That's a really good gun. We just got them in. That's a good gun. Just put the laser, you put the bullet where you want it to go. So which will be all. We may close early today. It's a great movie. It's on physical media. It's on streaming. Check it out. It's freaking great. I love the Terminator. Good picks, man. Good picks. But speaking of Total Recall turns 35 later this year.
That's a really wow.
Came out in 1990.
What'd you think of the Total Recall reboot when they did it?
I thought it was okay, but it doesn't hold a candle to the first. Yeah. Although I will say it's funny though. I think the trailer for Total Recall, the remake, was better than the actual movie. And the other thing is, I thought we were going to get more. We did get it, but I thought it was going to be maybe a little bit more of an extended fight between Jessica Biel and Kate Beckinsale, but it just, I don't know. It happened, and I was like, okay, that was a good fight, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, girls, you're gonna tear each other apart. Come on, get into it. And no, I'm not saying this is a cat fight thing. No, I'm saying to you, both Jessica Biel and Kate Beckinsale's characters are like physically gifted women who can literally beat the crap out of each other. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to give us
Underworld and Blade 3 or whatever it was, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have a knockdown, drag out fight between two characters, and I'm not just talking about because they're women. I'm saying if you're going to have a fight between two characters, make it good. And I thought it was all right, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but Kate Beckinsale, I'm just saying, one of the hottest women on the planet, still is to this day, believe it or not. And, you know, Jessica Biel doesn't look too bad either. I think she's aged gracefully to a certain degree. Yeah. So give credit where credit's due, man. Just saying. Hollywood crushes. We all have them, folks. And there's no shame in that. Because, hey, how are they going to know? They live in Hollywood. They have their ears like this. They don't hear what we're saying. Who knows, really? Jeez, I'm going off the beaten path here. But you know, what was it? Marvel, DC. So you mentioned some of the DC films earlier. I'm just curious. No love for Man of Steel? Didn't like Henry Cavill's iteration? Didn't like his iteration?
I mean, I like Henry Cavill quite a bit. Like, I love him as Witcher and a lot of stuff he's in.
True.
I don't think he was a bad Superman. I just didn't think they gave him a lot of really good moments. I just felt like that Superman
was the best writing.
Yeah, that was the best of his Superman, I felt like, but he just was always so dark and moody, and it didn't feel like Superman to me, you know.
Yeah,
he
got the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
creatively, writing wise, everything. Just, you know. But Henry, we love you, man. He's got a lot of things going for him. He's doing Warhammer 44,000, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
So he's. Oh really? You're a fan? Okay. So yeah.
Well, a little bit. I that's one game I haven't played much of. That's sort of related to tabletop RPGs, but I know a little bit of it. And that Secret Level animated show had an episode that was Warhammer. But yeah, I think it would be good to see him. It's something he's passionate about. He's been passionate for a long time, so it'll be cool.
It's very true. I'll give you that. Henry, we love you, brother. You got a lot of great things going for you. You've played so many great characters over the years in your career. In the last, was it 12, 13? Was it 12 now?
I mean, those
12 years since Man of Steel. Yeah,
Chambers.
Yeah, the gun show and Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout. Like, we're ready to tear each other apart. Let's go. Like, that's...
Not everybody could pull that mustache off. I'm just saying, he did a good job.
Yeah, that bathroom scene in Mission Impossible Fallout, Marks.
It's awesome.
I'm thinking to myself, I wish I was a fly on the wall when they shot that, because Henry Cavill with that pump arm, like that. I'm like, was that in the script or did he improv that? Because however he did it was just so bad.
I'm pretty sure I read that he improved it. He was just, they were doing it multiple times and his arms getting a little tired, so he did that without thinking. And he said, sorry about that. And they're like, no, keep doing that. I like it. It's so
nice. Christopher McQuarrie, the director, kept it in. That's smart. Thanks, Christopher McQuarrie. We appreciate. Looking forward to seeing how the Mission Impossible franchise wraps up here in the next couple of months, because Final Reckoning's coming out. So my Obsidian
Archives, if I was going to say super spy stuff, it borrows a lot more in the vibe of Mission Impossible than it does James Bond. So,
and we used a bit of Mission Impossible in the intro of this broadcast. So
nice.
As you saw, I don't know if you saw it or not, but it's there. It's good stuff, man. Goodness gracious. Well, I'll tell you what, just out of curiosity, you mentioned something about comics. How many boxes of comics do you have in your collection? Do you have any long boxes, short boxes? How does it work for you?
Yeah, I have quite a number of long boxes. I don't buy comic books as much anymore. I get them digitally now because it's space basically. But yeah, I used to collect them a lot when I was a kid. Lots of Marvel, lots of DC, lots of Image Comics. I loved when Image Comics started up because it was like something that was new that I could explore and learn as it was developing. And even a little bit of Valiant Comics when that first came out. But yeah, and Continuity Comics, if you remember that, Neil Adams. I have some of those too. So yeah, I love comics. Everything that was Batman, everything that was Spider-Man, most Justice League, Avengers, a lot of the X-Men stuff. I would collect those.
Good stuff. Good choices, in my opinion. You know, in the words of our friendly neighborhood Grail Knight, you have chosen wise. See what I did there?
Yes.
There's a reference for you. That was actually the first indie film I ever saw. I didn't even see Raiders first. I saw LC, Last Crusade, long before I ever saw Raiders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw everything in reverse order. I saw Terminator 2 before I saw The Terminator. Saw, Die Hard 3 before I saw the original Die Hard.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw everything in reverse, brother. That's how it works with me when it comes to movies and TV series.
Did
I
you
do
watch
everything.
Rocky? Did you watch like Rocky 3 first before?
No. With that one, I actually watched the original, the first Rocky, and I didn't like it very much, to be honest. I didn't like the first Rocky, and then I watched Rocky 2 and 3, and I'm like, oh, these are great. Rocky 1, why couldn't you have been this? But Rocky 1's an origin story, and it's a bit of a slow burn. So,
Yeah, it was a slow, lower budget film.
yeah, it was a slow burn because no one knew what was going to happen with it at the time. Everyone took a risk on it too.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what was going to happen. But Rocky 2 and 3, I like those more than the first one. I'm sorry to say, but I just do. But I will say this: of the original 6 Rocky films, because # Rockies 4 and 5 never happened, Rocky 6, Rocky Balboa, is phenomenal. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. How many? You've seen it, right? You've seen Rocky Balboa, Rocky 6.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah,
so good, man. So good. I mean, if you want inspiration and motivation, that is a film you need to go back and revisit. Seriously.
Yeah. I like. There's a movie too called. Was it called The Warrior or Warriors? It was a
Warrior was the UFC one.
Yeah. I like that one quite a bit too because I know a lot of people who do UFC type stuff or MMA, so it's kind of cool seeing that.
Oh, nice. Do you watch MMA or UFC? You watch it?
I used to watch it all the time when it first started.
Back in the day.
Back in the day before it had rules. and then as it's gone, I still watch some of them, but yeah, I don't watch everyone because there's like one constantly every week now. I can't keep up with it. So, but yeah, I'll watch occasionally some of the big names when they pop in and catch fights here and there and stuff. So I have a few friends who have fought in the fights before, and so it's kind of cool. So.
Oh, all right. So I take it the names Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey mean something to you.
Yeah.
I mean, first time I ever heard the name Gina Carano was when she was as a Crush on the American Gladiators reboot.
I remember when Ronda Rousey lost. First time she lost. So
yeah, that caused a bit of a stir on the interwebs. Now did it?
Oh yeah, she
like,
seemed to beat.
We thought you were invincible, but it turns out you're not. I'm like, look, no one's perfect.
No one is. Yeah.
Yeah. When she lost, I mean, was I a bit bummed that happened for her? Yes, but at the same time, like, dude, it's life. You can't win everything. You're not like I mean, look at Goldberg. Goldberg wrestled 173 matches before he got his first loss, and then he lost to Big Sexy Kevin Nash, my favorite wrestler when I first started watching pro wrestling. Wolfpack for life, brother. And it's it's like, look, you can't be perfect, and you can't win everything because if you did, it'd be boring.
Oh yeah. Did you watch the TV show Heels?
No, but Well, I saw the pilot episode with Stephen Amell, but I never watched the rest of it. But I heard Heels was a good show.
Yeah, if you like pro wrestling, it's kind of a cool way to see
the inner workings of the business.
Yeah. It's kind of a neat series. So
yeah, I want to see it. I do want to watch the rest of it because Stephen Amell did a great job in the pilot episode that was free on Stars that I saw with a buddy of mine. So I have to revisit that at some point. I've met Stephen Amell briefly. We got a photo op together. He was a nice guy, even though the photo op was quick in and out because you know how photo ops are.
Yeah.
So, but one of these days, I hope to see him again and actually talk to him and have an extended conversation. Have him sign this book that has a great amount of artwork in it, put together by Brian C. Roll of OdysseyArt.net. He's a digital artist. Feel free to check him out, OdysseyArt.net. Got a lot of great pieces of artwork on there that do feature Stephen Amell quite a bit because he's had some partnerships and dealings with Stephen Amell in the past, and it's it's very, very good artwork. So it's been very, very good to me. Networking with other artists and people at conventions has been very, very good to me. So no regrets, Marx. No regrets.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to Marx Pyle for being our guest on this episode of Freewheeling Fridays. Marx, you are a gentleman and a scholar.
Oh, thank you.
And you got a lot of great things going for you. I like the physical media collection behind you. I may not have seen every episode or every season of a lot of these shows, but I've seen bits and pieces. So, I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. I just need to go back and watch the other 6 seasons of Buffy and all 5 seasons of Angel. So I've got
Buffy's coming back apparently. So
yeah, apparently they're rebooting it 35 years later. I mean, you could have done it sooner when Sarah Michelle, but then again, Sarah Michelle Gellar has aged like a fine wine. So she's going to be just fine. Although it would have been nice if you had done it maybe 10 or 15 years ago when the MCU was a big thing and Joss Whedon was directing the Avengers at that time. But, Joss Whedon has his hands full with Avengers 1 and 2, and then we all know how the sequel turned out. Not good. Age of Ultron, downhill. OG
Yeah.
Avengers, though, from 2012, Marks, perfection.
Oh yeah,
Avengers
Best-
Age of Ultron, not perfection.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work like that. No. But like we said, you can't be perfect.
Mm-mm. Nope.
There's in the word, someone said this once to me. I can't remember who it was. Nobody's perfect. It's just a fact of life, man. It's a fact of life. But the good news is this episode was near perfect. I would
Almost
say.
there. Almost there.
No, I'm kidding. This was a great episode. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, Marks. I enjoyed having you here. The person who may be watching or listening to this enjoyed talking with you and getting to know you a little bit better. If someone wants to know more about you or purchase copies of your books, maybe check out some of your content on your YouTube channels and all the wonderful things that you, your wife, your creative team are doing over there at Cabot Crossing, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yep.
Where can they follow you on social media, Marks?
I mean, you go cabotcrossing.com. That's Cabot, like a cat-rabbit hybrid. That's where that name comes from. You can go cabotcrossing.com. You can go to Cabot Crossing on YouTube. It's our YouTube channel. You also can, if you're just concerned about my stuff, which most of it's the same anyway, or more, you go to marxpyle.com also. And then, unfortunately, I don't have the links. I need to get some friendly universal links for the pre-orders. I forgot to get that ready. But if you go either through Cabot Crossing or just look up on Amazon my name, you'll find all the anthologies. So you'll see the pre-order ones coming out soon. See what might interest you. We also, what I do with these anthologies, besides twists and turns on some concept, I also have like bonus features in there. Like I have behind the scenes like commentaries written by the authors, which I think is a nice touch. So that's a little unique compared to some of the other anthologies out there.
Cool, man. Congratulations to you and your creative team over there. We wish you the best of luck with everything moving forward. All the links are located in the description down below if you want to check out what Marx Pyle is doing. My links are down there. My name is Ryan of Van Quote Channel. Marx, I'm going to talk to you here again momentarily, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Feel free to grab a cup of coffee or something in the backstage area and some donuts or whatever we got back there in that green room. I'm just saying. My name is Ryan of Van Quote Channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Follow me across all forms of social media simply at And I Quote Channel, which is right here below my name there. There it is. We talk about all things pop culture. We talk about movies, TV series, comic books, all that great stuff. I have interviews with some of the best indie creators in the world, including Marx Pyle, who was just on this episode particularly. So check all that stuff out. Lots of great things coming your way. And I Quote, my flagship show is on Saturdays, 12 p.m. EST. My other shows are on Friday nights at 7 p.m. EST. That's Eastern time. The first Friday of every month, we do the Meaning of Fandom, where we gather people together and they share with us what a particular character or fandom means something special to them and why. We also have movie watch-alongs on the second, third, and fourth Friday of every month, where we celebrate a particular movie that's turned a certain age, whether it's their 25th birthday, 30th anniversary, 40th anniversary, whatever it may be. The month of February is going to include titles such as The Quick and the Dead, which Lori Calcaterra of Madness Comic Network and Path of the Pale Rider is going to be one of our panelists on that show. That's going to be on Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So that'll be at 7 p.m. EST, and then the week after that, we dive into the 40th anniversary of the Breakfast Club, and then we wrap up February with a hunt for something that's red, and it's called The Hunt for Red October. Yeah, that's right, that one. The OG Jack Ryan movie with Alec Baldwin and Sean Connery. R.I.P. to Sean Connery. We miss you, good sir. So check all that stuff out. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified of when our videos go up or to go live. And if you want to know more about the craziness that ensues on the Madness Comic Network, well, let's keep it simple. We have this for you, but hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Take a look.
Click on the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends catch every twist and every turn. Madness comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends catch every twist and every turn. Madness comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe.